up, Dwayne?
Chilling.
Or should I say Duss Wayne? For all of you who don't know who this is that are watching right now, this is Duss Wayne. He's a clothing designer. You've been designing for like 10 years now?
Yeah.
That's pretty wild, especially for your age.
Yeah, it sounds crazy to say. I'm not even gonna lie. Every time I say it, I'm like, it feels unbelievable. I don't know.
Do you feel like when you started, it was like a hard decision for you to make? That like, in a way, you really jumped into kind of like a big, I don't know, a lot of people look at it as like a risky career, right?
Yeah.
Like when you went into it at the time, did you feel that way?
No. I didn't. I think, and I'm kind of glad I didn't have like, I guess that stigma of how hard it is to kind of be in it. And that was just based off of being uninformed in a way. So in high school, I had this substitute teacher, which I was actually recently just thinking about a couple of days, where she would like, there was just this one specific day where she was like, I don't even know how the conversation came up, like with me wanting to make clothes, but she was like, you need like $1 million to like make clothes. And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, no, I don't need that. And she was like, well, how are you supposed to be successful and like get these clothes made and stuff like that? I was like, well, I'm gonna get a sewing machine and a pattern making book and I'm gonna just start figuring out for myself. Like, I already know school's gonna be mad expensive. So, yeah, and I just took that energy and continued with it. Like, I didn't even like think about that number in a way like being true. Like I'm learning like that it is pretty difficult like to be in this industry in a way. Mm-hmm. Even if you're doing it yourself or if you got backing and funding, it's still difficult. But I'm very glad I didn't have that on my back at all, because I don't know, maybe I would have thought different about it. But I did really like the idea of just like creating something and being able to like put it on for myself, or not like hang it on the wall or put it in a museum or keep it in my sketchbook, like, because that was like the first thing I would do is draw anyway.
So like that's kind of why you think you gravitated towards this form of art, because it's like a useful form of art in a way?
Definitely. Yeah, I would say it was funny because it was, the idea was like based off of things I was just like looking at, whether it was like music videos or like if I was watching like a cartoon or a movie and I'm like, I like the way this character looks and that character looks, and I'm like, how could I do that for myself? And that was just the idea at 14, and then I didn't really start it until I was 17.
That's a lot younger than most people are starting much of anything, honestly.
Yeah, no, for real.
So props to you for that. Yeah, I like that perspective where it's like, how can I create something in an art form, but then also like be worn? Like, yeah. I like that a lot. That's an interesting perspective. When I decided that I wanted to go into fashion, that's all I was told from my family about how hard it is. So I definitely had that perspective being thrown at me. But I think it's kind of like, no matter which way you go about it or look at it, like, it's just so, each situation is so independent, you know? Like, I've gotten, speaking on the money thing, like, since, you know, working on the social media, we've talked about, like, getting messages with people kind of asking advice and how much money they need to start their clothing business or whatever. And I feel like that's where you and I are very similar. Like, we just don't really see it that way. It's not like you need something or need whatever to get started. It's more the idea of just starting wherever you are and with whatever you have.
Yeah.
And that's also a lot of, I think, Neville's kind of concept as well.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Neville Wisdom owns this shop, and he's also a clothing designer and a mentor to both of us in a way. And we've both learned a lot from him in terms of just like, just go after it, you know, like you don't need anything. That, I mean, in my years, I always wanted to like, it was like once I move here, once I go there, I could like then do or be or whatever. And I've just learned that that's just not the case with anything.
Yeah, no.
With anything that you want to do or be, it's just all kind of starting here and now, I would say.
Yeah. You gotta take that initiative. Like, I mean, you only gotta wait as long as you believe you can do it. It's just kind of crazy because I've never even like, I think I've always had a lot of initiative, so to even like think of like waiting like for something to happen, it's just like it just didn't. I didn't go through that part in the beginning. And I'm glad I didn't, because I really don't know where I would be if I did have that.
Well, I feel like you would be at some stupid job and you wouldn't have, you know, taken the time to learn the skill that you really wanted to learn if you didn't. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like if we don't do it while we're young, there's like even less of a chance that it'll kind of happen.
Yeah. It's like you not have a clock. It's like, when are you actually gonna do this? I was counting up the hours that I'd be spending here, and I was like, yo, it's like over 70%. Yeah, it's a lot of time.
But your job is like a little different because it's not really, I want to say it's not really a job. I hate to say that because I feel like that comes off as it's like a belittling thing, but it's more than that. It's a whole lifestyle that you've chosen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a lifestyle. Like, I was thinking about like, even like, what would like be the alternative for me if I wasn't doing this? But the crazy thing is, it's like it would just be something else. That's just, I guess, not traditional, and I would be kind of doing the same thing, just spending time on something that I really like to do, and allowing it to fulfill my life. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just so happens that I really, really like this thing that I chose, like a lot. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think you're a very unique human in a particular way where you see it as such a dedication, but not necessarily a commitment, if that makes sense. It's like you are committed to it, but I mean, I don't feel like you feel stuck or locked in and like your life is like, well, this is my life now. Where a lot of people, when they choose like a career or something, I feel like that kind of does come up. But I think like the dedication that you've shown towards it over the years is like pretty insane and impressive, to be real with you. And I mean, not a lot of people would really spend the time like you did. But I guess that's kind of why I say like it's not really a job, because it's a choice that you are very happy with, and you're not just in the shop from open to close. I mean, we open at 11, and what time did you get here today?
I got here 7. Yeah.
And we close at 9, and a lot of times you're here till 11, midnight, etc., etc. So it's, I guess like my point is it's very inspiring because it goes to show if you really truly do what you love, you can enjoy your life. Like, life doesn't have to be this crazy grind and all about making money and hustling and doing one thing to the next. It's like you can choose and be dedicated to something and love your life at the same time. And I think it's like so beautiful that you found this path. I wish that so many more people would be able to find a path that they love and are happy with.
Yeah, no,
it's very rare.
Yeah, it's funny because I just noticed that like being in here, I think one time, well, it's kind of like, I don't want to even say reassuring, but I think because I chose to like do this, it's more, I think it's just more enjoyable. It wasn't like quote unquote given to me or handed to me in a way. Like it was something I like stumbled upon and just so happened to like really like find the love for it.
I don't think you stumbled upon it. Well, you went out of your way, and I say this just to give you more credit for it. You went out of your way and approached a fashion designer in the community that a lot of people not only look up to, but are like nervous to talk to, honestly. Which is crazy to us because we know him so good and well, but a lot of people really are nervous to approach him. And you did when you were so young. And I know you were nervous too, but you still did it, and like you did go out of your way to make this your life. Didn't it? You didn't just
Yeah, without any
but that's a good thing.
Expectations of it too. That's the crazy part. Like I'm not gonna lie, I didn't imagine this. I just thought I would probably learn something.
How could you imagine this?
And probably take it with